Welcome to Dreams Modified but Not Deterred. I'm Judith. So it's the third month of the year, and many of us have had New Year's resolutions that we have either completely stayed committed to, or we have tried to reinvent ourselves or reevaluated whether or not those actual New Year accomplishments or New Year goals are actually possible. There are many of us who have been praying and hoping for a change, and change doesn't seem to come. Well, your timing and the timing of your path is totally different. Maybe you have been praying and asking God for a change. Maybe you've been wondering, why is it that everyone else seems to be making strides, but I feel stuck? I feel complacent. Maybe your time just has not come because you're not fully ready or prepared. You see, many times in life, we are so sure that we want a particular thing. Maybe it's a humongous house, maybe it's a new job, maybe it's an experience. But what we fail to understand is with those priors and hopes and dreams that we have, they come with added responsibility. They come with the need for a different mindset. One of the things that has always kept me at bay is believing that one day to me might just be a split second to God. But just knowing that delay sometimes is a prevention of danger, but it's also a better possibility for something greater. Because so many times in our lives we make decisions based on now, what we need now, what we feel is going to fulfill the desires that we have, or is going to solve the problem that we're having immediately. But we fail to remember that you cannot make permanent decisions for temporary issues. Very cliche statement, but if you had the opportunity to make a decision that you know in the long term was not beneficial, but in the moment, you maybe wanted to teach someone a lesson, or maybe you just wanted to turn the page to something different, something bigger, something greater. I am sure there are many lessons that was learned. I think the worst lesson anyone can learn is trying to teach someone else a lesson and it end up being your own lesson. I have a mindset or an analogy that I always take a pause to reflect on when I have to make decisions, or when I have to think about, do I extend myself to someone or to something? Think about this simply an analogy. If you are in the ocean on a boat, and for some reason your boat becomes unbalanced, or your canoe or whatever, and you see someone who is maybe not one of your favorable person, but they too is in the ocean and they need some help to get back to land, to shore. In order for your boat to balance itself on the waves of the sea, of the ocean, you need another person in that boat. Do you tell yourself, there's no way I'm going to help that person. I don't like them, or they don't like me. So I'm going to stay in this boat and I'm going to batter myself in the back and forth in the sway of the ocean? Or are you going to invite that person into your boat? Because many times there's strength in numbers, and sometimes there's strength in two than there is in one. Don't be afraid to help someone else so that you can help yourself. That may be in any aspect of your life. Don't be afraid to help open doors and opportunities for someone else. You know, last week I was a part of a photo shoot or a production, and I met some really amazing people while I was on that shoot. And there was one thing that stood out to me, and something that people have always said. is my level of humility. And I've never really thought of it so deeply as humility. I have always thought about it as being at bay, knowing that today can change in a split second. Many of us are on such a level of elevation in our lives that we forget that as we climb the ladder, as we grow in life, it takes simple things like a diagnosis where your health is now limited to your possibilities. That changes everything. You lose your home or you lose a loved one. That changes everything. So take some time to pause and ask yourself, who am I? If my situation shifts for the better, will I be the same person? Or if my situation shifts for the worse, would I be the same person? Because the bottom line is the core of you, who you are, should not change because of your circumstances. Find reason and purpose to stay grounded, that when the boats of life is leaking or is battered in the ocean waves, stay grounded in who you are. You are not just put on this earth to achieve things, to have a fabulous life just for you or just for you and your family. Instead, you are given a purpose. Let God work through you to touch other people's lives. Help someone along the way. The other thing is, sometimes you might help someone along the way, or you might extend yourself to someone, and maybe the response that you are looking to get is not what you get. It's okay. Because your blessing is greater when you are able to extend yourself to people with no one knowing. God knows. And you and your generation to come will be granted favor because you took the time to make a sacrifice to help someone else. Because you took the time to allow God to work through you. Be that light. Be that light in the world to people who are experiencing darkness. Many of us that profess our faith sometimes forget that there are times when you need to show up, not just by words, but by your actions. So as you look at today and you look at where you are, maybe it's that prayer that you've been praying for years and you feel like, my God, I've been in this same position. I've been having these hopes and dreams, but everything is stagnant. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your failing health. Maybe it's lost relationships. Maybe it's past emotional hurts that it doesn't matter how much you have forgiven or healed. They keep coming back and capturing your emotions. Give it to God. He knows what you're feeling. He knows what you have experienced. He still loves you. Because in the middle of your pain and your struggles where it seems like he's not there, he's there. You might not see his footsteps, but trust me, he is there. Because if you hold on long enough, you'll be able to look back and laugh and be like, wow, I just think I complained in that season. Because God is trying to teach you something or to allow you to learn something in that process. Like the growth from a baby to adulthood, there are stages, and we have to go through those stages. So stay in your phases, have faith, have hope. Keep believing, keep hoping, and just know that God has never left you. He is still there. And remember, you do not have to deter your dreams. You can modify them.